too many bugs out here. This is Kaylin here. So first of all, I'm going to apologize. The lighting is super bad because there's a tree and the sun is right all the way up there, and so it's not like in front of my face, and I don't really have anywhere else to film, and my room is a mess, and so I'm really sorry. But today I'm doing a very heavily requested video. It is a video that is day by day of SeaWorld camp. I did post a kind of video picture montage kind of thing a while back after I finished camp. I did August 2 through 7 in 2015, last summer. And so everybody wanted me to actually talk you through each day. So that's what I'm going to do. And enough talking, let's get into the video. Okay, so I have my notes right here if I'm looking down, as always. So I'm going to start off with day 1. So day 1, you have to show up around 2 o'clock, and you go, you set everything up in the, I like to say cabin because I was at Camp Pretty Springs this summer, but your dormitory that they have at the camp. And so you'll set up your bed, you'll set up your cubbies and stuff in the bathroom, you'll set up everything that you need to, and you meet your counselors. And your counselors tell you the cabin rules and give you the lowdown and all of that kind of stuff. And then you go into breakaway, which is the employee cafeteria, which is one of the coolest things ever. You go into the employee cafeteria, and that's where you eat dinner, which is normally pizza for the first night. And then you and if there's expedition or if there's marine biology people, campers, all of you guys will do icebreaker games together, which are really fun. They're pretty interesting. A couple people run into each other, but it's fun. So you do those, and then you may or may not be going into the park and doing just looking around the arcade or playing games or riding rides, that kind of stuff, and then you go back to the dorm and you go to sleep. So day 2, okay. So, disclaimer that every week is different because depending on how many campers there are in a career camp group, there may be 2 different groups or whatever, and you get a different counselor for a different day. So if there's advanced camp and advanced camp 2, they all have the same counselors. So you guys will be set on a different schedule every day. So you'll be doing sea lion, so you'll be doing sea lion, another group will be doing polar, another group will be doing Shamu that day, that kind of thing. And so this was just what my week was. This is just a sample, it's an example. But anyway, day 2 was sea lion and animal care day, which was one of my favorite days. It was so fun. Very first thing we got up, they tell you the night before if you need to go to Java and you need to get your boots, or you need to go get a wetsuit, or whatever you need. So they'll tell you if you need a greenie or a wetsuit or boots or whatever. So they will tell you. And then you have to remember in the morning, you set your own alarm. Normally I set mine on my phone, and I put my phone under my pillow on vibrate so that you don't wake everybody else up, because everybody wakes up at varying times depending on what day they're doing. And so I set my alarm underneath my pillow. It woke me up. I would get up. I'd go brush my teeth, put on a little bit of mascara, fix my hair, put on my camp clothes, tuck it into my shorts, because you're supposed to tuck your camp shirts into your shorts to look more professional. And then, boot socks and boots, or go down to Java and pick it up, or pick up greenies or whatever. So I went down to Java. I had picked up my boots the night before, and I had them by my bed. And so then I put them on in the morning and got everything ready. I was good to go, and so we got on the bus and we went to Sea Lion. Fun fact about camp: if you're on time, you're late. So if you're early, fun fact about camp: if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're not going. So that's basically how camp works. But we ended up going to Sea Lion, and we did breakout first thing there. We got there, we did breakout. What was really cool was I got to see Larry, who I did my Sea Lion interaction program with that June before the August. And so he was moved up into husbandry training and an apprentice trainer. It was really awesome to see him do that. But we got to do breakout. We put vitamins in the fish. We measured them out for each animal. And then we went and we did weights on all of the animals. We all stood on the scale. We did a meet and greet where we got to do one behavior and get a picture. And then we did a group behavior, and we got to meet one of the Sea Lion legends. And then we went, Joe. And then we went to the stage. And so we set up the buckets on stage. We cleaned off the stage and had to hose it all off. And then we took a picture on the stage, and then we watched the show. And then we did feeding and stuff for the other, like the moms and stuff. And then we left and we went to backstage at Animal Care. That was where we did dolphins. So we basically went into the giant freezer, which was like -4 degrees, and we pulled out all of the fish that we needed for the next day, like smelt, herring, all that kind of stuff. We pulled it all out and we put it in the sink so that it would thaw out for the next day. And we got to do something that is no longer available, guys. Sorry, you guys don't get to do this anymore. But this was while Discovery Point was under construction and it wasn't a thing yet. And so we got to help desensitize the dolphins to waterwork training with guests. And it was super cool because we got our wetsuits on and we got in, and they were reading the pamphlet thing that they'd be reading if they were going to be talking to a guest, and like giving us the whole lowdown. And then we got in the water. It was normally a pair to a dolphin with a trainer. And I got to get in the water with Donnelly, who is my favorite dolphin. I got to meet him out of water in December, and then I got to swim with him in August, and it was amazing. And he's just a blast. And we got to be in there for like 20 minutes, which was longer than any other group was in there. And we got to go underwater. No other campers the entire summer got to do it. We got to go underwater, and he blew bubbles underwater, and we got to see him with the goggles and everything. It was so fun. And so we basically did that. And then we went back to the cabin and all that whatnot stuff. Note, in between all of these things, we have lunch. You eat breakfast, you eat lunch, dinner, that kind of thing. Then, day 3 was Shamu and Animal Ambassador Day. So, we got up in the morning, we put on our boots, and we went to backstage of Shamu Stadium, which is probably the coolest thing ever to enter through, where only the employees enter. It's crazy. There's no tour at SeaWorld that allows you to go backstage at Shamu. Only campers. Only campers, SeaWorld campers get to go. It's amazing. And so we got to do, she picked, Jenny was the trainer that was working with us, and she picked 2 people to go do breakout with her. She picked me because she remembered me from Kamea's birthday, and she picked Millie, I believe. And we both went back there and we did it, and the salmon were spawning, so there was weird goo all over them and all that kind of stuff. And so we got to do breakout with the fish. We measured all the buckets. We had to weigh them out. Kamea had like the small amount of fish. It was so cute. And so we weighed them all out. We wrote on the buckets, and then we brought them out. And we got to see each whales get weighed, how that worked. We got to see the raising bottom and the floor and all the safety features. And then we got to walk on the slide outs and stuff and go set the buckets. And we stood at the slide out at the front for a while, the big main blue slide out, and got to look at it, and we're just like, wow, future view, future employee view, that kind of thing. It was crazy cool. And then we got to watch the show, and then we did a trainer talk, and then we got to go down to the glass and get pictures. And then we left, and we went backstage. Well, we went to the Animal Care Center, or the Animal Ambassador Center. That's a conservation center, which is located near Steel Eel and Great White and all the rides. A little like arcade area is where it's located by. It's like around the corner from Penguin Encounter. And so we went there, we cleaned out all of like the little enclosures with like the snakes and the lizards and the birds and whatnot, and then we got to go back behind it, which nobody gets to go to. They haven't opened it to the public yet. This little area that they have a bunch of animals that like you don't ever get to see unless Clay brought them out. He's no longer Animal Ambassador, but you get it. Congratulations, Clay. But we went back there, we cleaned enclosures. I cleaned a cockatoo enclosure and I cleaned a snake enclosure. And then we got to hold 2 animals. We got to hold Susie, the umbrella cockatoo, and Wilson, the little armadillo. And it was so fun. And we got to hold an owl. He's pretty cute too. And then, you know, the day was over. And so then, day 4, we did Aquarium. And the aquarium is actually a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. I was not too excited about the aquarium day, to be honest. I love everything SeaWorld, but the aquarium is something that you just kind of breeze through. And I guess it's because I'm not that into fish. I'm into like cetaceans and big marine mammals and aquatic birds, but I'm not that into like tropical fish, I guess. And so I was just like, okay, aquarium day, not too psyched. Nick made it so fun. He's no longer a counselor anymore, but he made it so fun. We like went through everything, and he was doing the tour in an accident, jumping around, and it was really funny. And so then we got to meet the guy, and it was really cool because they were kind of doing, sorry I'm talking fast so I can get through this, but they were doing they were pulling this shark into a net, and so you see the guy that was going to talk to us, the aquarist, he was in the water and he was trying to get this shark into this net area, and you see him like dashing around and stuff because apparently the shark hadn't been eating in a while, and so the other sharks were stealing food from him, and so they had to pull them separately so that they could feed it. And then they, you know, gave it to the rest of the animals. They like released him back into the tank. And so I was like, oh, because at first I was like, what is happening? And so then that happened and I was like, oh, okay, so that's cool. They definitely keep an eye on each individual animal. They know their animals. And so we got to tour the aquarium from the very top. So we went and we saw like where they do reverse osmosis. We saw like the salinity tanks. We saw like all the pressure changes, all that kind of stuff, all the water chemistry. And then we got to see where they hold all the food. The food is weird. And so then we got to feed the top tank. So we fed the redfish. We fed some of the tropical fish, some of the tropical tanks, and like fed them different food. And then we went back to where Animal Care Center is, like backstage with dolphins, and they also have a quarantine facility there where all the quarantined fish are, and they'll tell you about how they find out where they do the necropsies and stuff for the animals. We saw the necropsy room where they do it for any of the animals at SeaWorld that pass away, from tropical fish all the way up to cetaceans, where they do the necropsies. And then we saw a bunch of stuff. We also got to dissect a stingray that was like, you know, covered in formaldehyde for educational purposes, that kind of thing. And we got to feed stingrays and feed some of the other fish in quarantine and a baby eagle ray, and then we got to pet a bamboo shark. And so then that was the end of aquarium day. Day 5 was bird and polar. This was the last day. So we went with Erin McKinney, who is an amazing human being. I got very, very lucky to be able to meet her and totally fangirled as soon as I saw her. But we went to Penguin Encounter and we did a breakout with the feeding, and so like we got all the fish and everything that we needed in like the little trays instead of buckets, so they're only like trays, and then we had to go in there and we like put the trays down so that the animals could eat, so that we could kind of distract them, because around 9 o'clock, if you want to go on the Penguin Cam on the SeaWorld Texas website, you can see them shoveling snow at 9 a.m. If you want to get on the camera at 9 a.m., you can see the video footage of keepers spreading the snow, because they do it every morning at 9 a.m. because it gets really hard to chuck it, because all of the penguins decide they want to like sleep on their stomachs on it, and so it gets really hard and compact, and so you have to like chuck it really hard. And there was snow machine guys that were there at the same time, and like it was just really funny, and penguins are getting in the way and you're like, move! And so we checked out all the snow, fed them, and then we got to get cuddle sessions. So we pet the baby king penguins and the baby corral, and then we got to pet all the other little penguins and give them hugs and stuff, and then we had to clean up everything. We had to wash all the buckets, make sure there were no scales and all that kind of stuff. And then we went to White Whale and Dolphin Stadium, and we got to go backstage. We did a little mini breakout with Chuck Carreau, who was there because they were doing a veterinary test on Betty at that time. Betty is a really old retired Navy dolphin, and she is awesome. You can tell who she is because she kind of has like a number on her side from the Navy, because they like brand their dolphins. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So I think it's like a 59 or something that's on her side. And she's a really old dolphin. So she was like, had a cold or something, and so they were like doing veterinary tests with her, and so Chuck was there. And I was like, oh, hey Chuck, like, I remember you. And he's like, I remember you. And so we like talked and stuff, and he was making jokes about Michael Jackson and how his wife is Janet Jackson and all this funny stuff. He's like, is it too soon? I'm like, yes, it's too soon. And he was really funny guy. I love Chuck so much. A future employer. He is amazing. Amazing at everything he does. So we did the breakout and everything. We got to get pretty close to the Pacific White-Sided Dolphins, and then, or the lags, and we got to go around onto the front of the stage, a little blue area where it says Azul, and we saw the dolphins. I told you guys about the story where we gave them a signal, they splashed water in our boots, and we got to go back up. And then we set buckets for the show, we went out, we watched Azul, and then we got to go back again, and we met a macaw, a scarlet macaw, and then we pet Martha the beluga whale. And then at the very end of the night, we saw the Shamu show. We saw Light Up the Night. We got to get all dressed up because it was a theme night. So our last night is a theme, and we had Rockstar. So I had like a killer whale tail on my cheek. I had like winged eyeliner and like pink and purple eyeshadow because of Light Up the Night. My hair was curled. We were like wearing boas and Rockstar. Like, we were so cool. And we all cried because then we went to campfire together, and we all like passed around the hula hoop and talked about our experiences and our family, and we just cried so much, and I miss all of them so much. But then the next morning you leave around 10 a.m. Sorry, I'm outside and there's bugs, but we had to leave at 10 a.m. and it was very, very sad to have to leave my basic Nick and my family, the newfound family. So that is what I did at career camp. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's technically the third camp video I've made. If you want to check out my other camp videos, I have one where it's a video and picture montage of my SeaWorld career camp August 2 through 7, 2015. And then I also have a collab video that I did with Maddie, or Makayo on YouTube, and you could totally go subscribe to her channel. She's amazing. But we did the differences between SeaWorld Orlando and SeaWorld Texas camp. And then I also have another video, which is this one right here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are having a really great day. If you want to see more of my videos, I post it typically every Sunday or every other Sunday, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video from me. It's red and it's right there, and you should do it. You can also like this video if you liked it, and share it with all of your wonderful friends if they're curious about SeaWorld Texas Camp. And I will talk to you guys next time. Have a whale of a day. Bye, guys.